Hello, this is DWall200 with another My Problems with People Were Wrong About Black Clover by Broku. And again, all I ask is please listen to what I have to say before leaving your dislikes. With that said, let's continue.
So Black Clover is just one of those anime or manga that gets demonized for literally no reason.
Remember, he said that because he gives the actual reason about 2 seconds later in the video.
Back when Black Clover's anime released nearly a year ago, it immediately became something that people loved to hate. Numerous YouTubers have made videos saying how terrible the anime is, saying that it is poorly done, and the franchise itself of Black Clover is a shameless copy of Naruto and My Hero Academia. Now, a lot of these great big YouTubers' claims ended up being mostly wrong or misinformed. If I had a penny for every time someone made an incorrect critique of Black Clover, I would be a rich man. Of course, people can still have incorrect critiques and still rightly dislike the show. It just usually means they actually disliked it for other reasons. But this isn't a great thing because Black Clover basically immediately started off with loads of negative press, which caused many people to not watch the show. Also, the anime really didn't have a great start in terms of quality, and of course, there were blocks in this entire anime so far. It's 49 episodes at the time of me recording this. There's blocks of a few episodes where it sucks.
And there you have it. A perfect reason why this anime is not good. It had blocks of episodes that were just not good. Didn't you just say there was no reason and their critiques were wrong? I'm just... wow.
But overall, I love it, and all of the critiques are wrong. The negative press really caused many people to not watch the show. Now, there are many false complaints. I can go through, but that would be too much for a single video. I'm just going to go through a few. I'm just going to be focusing on the complaint that Black Clover is a My Hero Academia and a Naruto clone, or a fusion of the two. I know many people also call it a ripoff of Fairy Tail, but that is less referred to than My Hero or Naruto.
This is my actual first time ever hearing Black Clover being compared to My Hero Academia. I've heard way more. They'd be comparing to Fairy Tail because he looks like the freaking main character from it, whose name is Natsu, and he looks quite similar to Asta. All you need is really put a headband on Natsu and put his hair white, and he would look exactly like him. So I don't get where the whole My Hero Academia comparison comes in until he actually explains it. But other than that particular instance, which we'll get into, I don't see it.
And also, I haven't seen Fairy Tail, so I can't attest to debunking those claims. So this video is going to be based off of the common critiques that Black Clover is a fusion clone of My Hero and Naruto. So I think the biggest claim is talking about the main character, Asta, and how he is somehow extremely similar to both Midoriya and Naruto Uzumaki. First off, I'm going to go on one of the biggest things that people use. Asta wants to be the Wizard King, the strongest wizard and one of the leaders of the kingdom. Naruto wants to be the Hokage, the strongest ninja in the village, who is also the leader of the village. Sure, these are somewhat similar titles, but it's just a common character motivation. Did Naruto copy One Piece because Luffy wanted to be the Pirate King? Did they copy Dragon Ball Z because Goku wanted to be the strongest fighter? Also, the Hokage and the Wizard King are just inherently different. The Hokage is the undisputed leader of the village. There is no other leader, and becoming the Hokage is based off of multiple factors. The Wizard King is more of a code king with the actual king. In fact, it seems as if the actual king has more pull within the kingdom than the Wizard King does. And the title of the Wizard King is based off of merit alone, not the trust of the people, not your charisma. It is how good you are and what you have accomplished. This already sets up a difference between these titles.
Yes, they are different titles, but it's the exact same thing. Just because they're done differently doesn't mean it's inspired, quote unquote, or copied, or paying homage, whatever you want to call it. The same thing. It's the same premise. It follows the exact same tropes as every other freaking big manga out there. They want to be Wizard King. They want to be Hokage. They want to be Pirate King. It's the exact same thing, just done a little bit different. That is what they call copying or homage or whatever, inspired, whatever you want to call it. But deep down, it's the exact same thing, just told differently. Holy shit.
Another complaint that I see a lot is that Asta and Naruto look exactly alike. Really? These two look nothing alike. You can't even call them brothers or cousins based off of looks alone. If spiky hair and a headband makes Asta a Naruto clone, then blue eyes and a beard make me a Chris Hemsworth clone. Yeah.
Well, this is a kind of a big false equivalent, even though I've never seen these two compared. I've seen it compared to Natsu from Fairy Tail. He looks way like him more than Naruto, which I really agree. I mean, he does look like Natsu quite a bit. And if you just put a headband at Natsu and change his hair to white, he'd probably look just like him. But to the point of having a false equivalence here, you might look like Chris Hemsworth. I really don't know. But if people see similarities like that, doesn't mean they're different looking. Like, he does look like Naruto just a little bit. I mean, he's not a twin or anything, and they're not clones, but they look similar enough where you can compare them.
That Asta's power is ripped off from My Hero Academia's Midoriya, as both Midoriya and Asta were born without their own universe's version of powers. Asta has no magic, Midoriya doesn't have a quirk. Okay, sure, a similarity. But magic in the Black Clover verse and quirks in My Hero verse are different in abundance and types. It is objectively more of an anomaly and a hardship for Asta to have no magic, rather than Midoriya having no quirk. This is because in the Black Clover world, Asta is the only person to have ever been born without magic. Sure, some people have little mana or control over their magic, but Asta is the only person that has 0 mana or magic. In Deku's world, 20% of the population has no quirks. Well, that is the minority. That's still 20%. If you are in school, and you have a school filled with 1,000 students, 200 of them are not going to have quirks. Which means that it isn't anything crazy if someone is born without one, and it's not even that bad. The My Hero world is more evolved and advanced. You can still live a normal life and a good life without a quirk. While in Asta's world, if you even have low magic, you can't do anything. Most daily tasks are based on using magic. They use magic for everything. Not only that, but you'll be ostracized by the nation or the village for having such low mana because the nobles hate the commoners. Now,
like ostracized from, your village because you have a demon inside you? Huh. That kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? Huh. I wonder what show that is. I just can't think of it. But I get what you're trying to do, even though you're kind of going about it the wrong way. You're trying to deviate from and prove by using these examples that, well, they're completely different. And when they're really not that different after all. Just because the percentage is different in My Hero Academia than Black Clover doesn't mean they're not the same, or at least the root of it are not the same. It's the exact same thing, just a different percentage of the population. They're just telling it in a different way, but you would know exactly where it's coming from. And this is one of the biggest problems I have with Black Clover. It relies too much on other bigger anime. You could call it homage or anything like that. Well, everyone does it. Well, if everyone jumps off a bridge, do you do it too? Oh man.
Now the next complaint is that Asta and Yuno is a shameless copy of Naruto and Sasuke. Why? Honestly, I do not get this one. This is almost as bad as a claim as that Naruto and Asta look alike. The only valid points here is that you have the main protagonist as two little runts, and then Yuno and Sasuke as the dark-haired, naturally talented rival. The comparisons pretty much end here, though.
Actually, I think there's way more to it than what you're saying. Because, to be perfectly honest, I can actually see this comparison. Because it's the same root, story, just told in a different way. They're not as rivaled as, Sasuke and Naruto. Sure, I'll give you that. But basically, their stories are almost the exact same, and so it's varied. You can tell what these two people are inspired. I use that freaking term very loosely by them. Okay, they're rivals, but best friends at the same time, and they push each other and all this bullshit. That's the exact same thing what Naruto and Sasuke were doing. The exact same thing, except it's slightly varied. I don't get why you don't see this comparison, or anyone that doesn't see this comparison, but I guess that's your opinion.
I've already showed the differences between Asta and Naruto. Another one I thought of that people do compare, though, is both have demons inside of them, between Asta and Naruto. Although we don't really know if there's a demon inside of Asta or a demon within his grimoire. The grimoire option is more likely, though, and Asta was attained through much different measures. But Yuno and Sasuke are quite different as well. Yuno wasn't raised by a rich and successful family. He was raised in the same village of Hokage alongside Asta. He was poor his entire life, and has no revenge story like Sasuke. Yuno actually wants to be the Wizard King from the beginning, and the relationship of Asta and Yuno is far, far more friendly.
That kind of sounds familiar. There's this one character on Naruto that, sure, his motives were to kill his brother at first, but they changed to that he wanted to become Hokage. That show sounds very familiar for some odd reason. I just can't put it or think of it. Sure, Sasuke's motives were a bit different in the beginning, but they turned into the exact same thing that he's doing. Just because their backgrounds are different doesn't mean they're not from this particular character. Oh man, you're just straw manning certain arguments at this point.
And Yuno hasn't abandoned the village to get revenge. He actually loves the village and will protect everyone within as much as he can. The relationship is just different. Way too different for a comparison. Asta knows that he'll become the Wizard King, but he also hopes that Yuno becomes the Wizard King, and he knows that Yuno can, and vice versa with Yuno. He knows that Asta is good enough to be the Wizard King. The Asta-Yuno relationship is far different from the relationship between Naruto and Sasuke to call this even close to being a clone. Not even the worlds between these three verses are that similar. It's so obvious that I don't really need to do much explanation. But anyway...
So wait, you're going to claim that they're so much different that it can't be compared, but not go into detail why? Are you fucking shitting me? At least you could have gave a few examples. I mean, sure, you didn't have to go into vast detail or anything, but some examples would have helped your cause here, or at least convinced me that you're not biased. But to be perfectly honest, I think you're very biased in this whole thing. And just because they're just told differently doesn't mean they're not from here. Sure, it's not a exact clone. It's not 100% copying. But you know where it's coming from. You know where they get this stuff from. You know where exactly what characters that they're supposedly inspired from and what series it goes to. This is the biggest problem with Black Clover. That it relies way too much on these other mangas to be its own. It could be its own identity. It's like original. It won't be 100% original, sure, but please, for the love of God, know that people are comparing these because they see it. They know where it's coming from, and it's pretty fucking obvious where it is coming from. And if you don't see that, I think you're a blind fanboy. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Rate, comment, and subscribe.